Good afternoon from Europe. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Piotr here. This is Light Forex Global YouTube channel, and we have like less than 5 minutes to US cash open, and that's what we are going to cover at the beginning. Is a last day, last trading session in US when it comes to the quarter, to the month. So end of the quarter, end of the month flow, some kind of the domination could be here. So we have to be very, very careful. Of course, it's not the time. If you want to recover something, probably it's not gonna be possible to do that at that particular day, right? We are going to check if there are any opportunities, right? Especially based on the news we've seen lately. So the one thing is, of course, unfortunately, the tragedy with this pandemic we are going through right now. But that caused also some troubles when it comes to the corporations, funds, and different things besides all the stimulus they already get. Anyway, the latest news: AGF Capital LLC suspends redemptions in 2.5 billion debt found. So, well, congratulations to the managers, probably the young guys who haven't seen what was in 2008, and just taking into consideration that right here, right now, it's much worse. So that's when you are short volatility, right? Probably, I don't know details. That just the news. What else? There is one more. Norway's 950 billion sovereign wealth fund. Be careful right now, right here. The world's biggest is about to make history as it prepares to liquidate the assets to cover government withdrawals. So we know already, I bet you already know what we are going to talk about, what kind of the direction we are going to look for when it comes to the indices and the risk. I bet you know. You can leave the information in the comment section, and don't forget, by the way, that you can check what I'm doing. Few different strategies on the one account, but anyway, you can monitor what I'm doing. A link is in the description. So as usual, guys, we are going to prepare ourselves to monitor what is going on Nasdaq during the first 5-minute trading range. But before that happens, we still have 90 seconds. The good thing I'm gonna to talk about is some kind of the trend line based on the weekly. I like to this is the trend line on the weekly I like to refer to lately. I'm taking into the consideration the biggest number of touches, right? So we have few here, few here, few here, few here, few here. Well, so what I'm talking about right here, right now, is the thing that current recovery, it might be nothing else than just a retest of the broken trend line, right? Of course, for the next few weeks, we might work that way, but still working under the trend line, right? And finally, at some point in the future, we might go to the downside. But right here, right now, because of where we are, I'm going to look. I think that the window dressing, partial window dressing, been seen yesterday. And today, I think this particular, when it comes to the daily, this particular supply, where the base is here, that's what we are going to see, and that's what I'm gonna to watch from the indices perspective. So let's switch lower to the intraday, and we've seen Tokyo higher, we've seen Europe higher, and then a little bit of the sell-off when those two news I've mentioned hit the market, right? So either we are going to trade head and shoulder visible here, but that would be, head and shoulder. The left shoulder would be based on what happened pre-market. I'm rather thinking about the triple touch, I'm thinking about the stop count, and I'm thinking for something like this. Why I'm thinking like this? Because the current move to the downside, that's the broken Friday high, might work as a demand right here, right now, pre-market, right? So rather I see opening and retest this low, maybe even stop count and rally, and then rejection, right? So let's have a look where we are. That's the first, that's the second min, that's the open. That's the high. That's the low for now. From the monthly chart perspective, you can see we are trading, bouncing around the red line. That's what we discussed from the monthly chart perspective. It's important, right? Also to try to close below. But 8,000 is a key in my opinion, so, well, we will see. Right, looks like we might see higher levels. So what I've been talking about, what I'm gonna to look for is this trend line and retest, as I mentioned, 8,000, significant level based on the monthly chart. So, you know, we might see bulls trying to push through towards that level, and that's where I'm going to look for my entry to the downside. Okay, so that's how I see indices. I think a little bit of the risk of also looking to sell euro dollar, right? And in that case, what is important? Important is that probably bears are going to fight for the third monthly close on the negative side, right? So what's the monthly open? It's 963. Sorry. Monthly open is 1040. I'm sorry, 1040. We've been there. Not sure if we are going to retest that level today. But for today, the daily open, yesterday low, weekly open. All right, those levels here. That's where my interest when it comes to trying to trade euro dollar today. It's gonna be visible, better visible from the intraday perspective, especially when we are talking about the latest broken demand. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Don't forget that I've prepared few educational videos yesterday, two actually. Some examples about the supply and demand. So I think visiting the archive section, visiting the educational section here on the Light Forex Global YouTube channel, and you are going, especially that we are sitting home, most of us, on a lockdown. So it's going to be worth to watch. So the first attempt is going to be a little bit lower. So we are talking about this, about that yesterday low, right? As you can see. So that's represents almost the yesterday low. So that's where I'm going to, that's the levels close to 1010, 1020. So that's where I'm gonna to look for renew of the, or enter the new one, renew another short on when it comes to the euro dollar, especially that the current move to the downside took out that latest demand, right? As you can see, we were trying to hold few times, right? And finally we broke to the downside. So I do expect some supply around this 10.20, and that's where I'm gonna try to trade the short side. On the cable, also looking to sell cable. All right, where we are, let's switch to the daily or even weekly. We are testing very significant level, even with the huge engulf we've seen last week. But the Friday was the special one, because when you are trying to settle your business at the end of the month on spot market, you have to do the T+2, right? It was on Friday. So the latest Friday rally was because of some business settlement. And if you are going to check the whole quarter, there was plenty of possible profits on the short side, which been booked towards the end of the quarter, right? I do expect weaker pound. Now it could be from here. It's like 61.2, a little bit higher, and in that case, I would like to see attempt to go higher, maybe by tomorrow or towards the end of the week. Now you have to check the seasonality. The previous year, 2019 April, was not good for the pound, but overall April was quite okay from the bulls pound perspective. But anyway, medium term, I do expect lower levels to come on the cable. It's going to be very hard to try to trade the cable today, right? Because I think some kind of the action is being seen on the euro pound, right? And I'm going to make the separate video when it comes to the pound. Also, end of the quarter, end of the month flow is seen on the dollar yen, and here, well, we've been trying to recover nicely, but huge rejection. And now, based on the monthly chart, when I went through that monthly chart, suddenly I wasn't that surprised, right? Whoa! Still possible inside the channel. Looking for also the case related to the end of the fiscal year in Japan. I want to see a little bit of the rally, and I'm going to try to trade this particular channel for a while when it comes to the dollar yen. So I'm watching dollar yen, I'm watching pound dollar, but I'm looking for a sell rallies on the euro dollar and looking for sell rallies on the indices. So, you know, end of the quarter, end of the month, it's not a great few hours from the trading perspective. So, you know, I don't want to put so much money at the risk these days. So I'm going to be careful. Only those most liquid assets, euro dollar and indices, that's what I'm gonna to focus on this afternoon. If necessary, I'm going to make an update towards the end of the day. Fingers crossed, guys. Stay home, stay safe, don't be trapped. Thank you, take care, and goodbye.